Good evening, YouTube, and welcome to the Piper Report. So, Paul Manafort might be getting indicted here. Apparently, when federal investigators they told him when they raided his house that he was going to be indicted. Now, it could have been a scare tactic. You intimidate them, so they want to talk to you. Cops do it all the time, etc., etc. So, most people are presuming it is a warning. However, this presumption could end up leading to an indictment against Manafort. And me personally, I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. If you break the law, you should face the consequences. My problem is I wonder if the FBI has instituted a FISA order against John Podesta, who also has ties to Russia, who worked with Russian banks. WikiLeaks, they showed us that Hillary Clinton was essentially doing a pay-to-play scheme in her emails. In her emails. Paul Manafort is no different in terms of criminality than people like Bill Clinton, than Hillary Clinton, than John Podesta. Comey is a fool, and Comey is a tool for the Clintons, and he just so happens to be a really great friend with Mueller. Comey didn't even bother. He didn't even bother with a grand jury. Mueller, he is. Now imagine what would happen if Comey did actually do a grand jury. If they actually did it honestly and picked random people and not actually try to politicize it, Hillary Clinton would have faced an indictment. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Cheryl Mills, probably as well. Uma Abedin, probably as well. That's why they didn't want to do a grand jury. But with Trump, they want to do a grand jury now. I did a video in the past where I showed a list of all of Robert Mueller's investigators. And they were all working with the Democrats in some form or another. Some of them have personally worked for Obama. Some of them have donated to Clinton. They're all left-leaning investigators. Democratic supporting investigators. How can you expect an unbiased investigation when every single investigator is for the other team? You can't. You can't. And this kind of makes me mad. If Paul Manafort did break the law, arrest him. Okay, arrest him. I'm not going to defend him because I don't know the man. But if the allegations against him are true, then arrest him. But don't use your own selective reasoning, your own select choices on who is breaking the law and who isn't. If you do something wrong, you should be investigated and you should be indicted. Don't try to only focus on one particular party, which is whoever is associated with Trump in any way. It's sad. Here's the article. Prosecutors on special counsel Robert Mueller's team, remember, they're all Democrat-leaning, they're all either work with Obama or Hillary Clinton, they have ties with the Democratic Party, reportedly told former Trump campaign manager Manafort that they plan to indict him while they raided his Virginia home in July. The warning, allegedly, a shock and awe tactic, came as federal agents combed through Manafort's computer files, documents, and any other potential pieces of evidence that could help them in their federal investigation. The New York Times reported Monday, citing two people close to the investigation. Now, I haven't read this article, but they better have cited the people's names, actually, because if they didn't, then how do we know that this isn't fake news? The truth of the matter is, we don't know it's fake news. We know that fake news is rampant. We know that there is selective news reporting. That is, many of them will only report stories that have some type that can sort of, in a small fractional means, solidify their accusations. For example, if a source came out and said that we have found new evidence right now that Hillary Clinton broke every single law and Donald Trump's completely innocent, it was actually the Clintons that colluded with Russia instead, I doubt that the New York Times would report on something like that. I doubt CNN would, because it doesn't fit their paradigm. It doesn't fit their narrative. So you got to be careful with the corporate media. especially the corporate media, the mainstream media in general, but the corporate media, when I say corporate media, I mean the big ones, the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, I mean, because they all have their own narratives that they are trying to force onto people. The liberal media, which I hate saying the name liberal because they aren't true liberals, but the liberal media, they're actually far more robust than conservative media, Fox News. So the liberal media is far more dangerous in terms of the fake news that they disseminate. It can cause a lot more negative ramifications as opposed to a company like Fox News, which Obama said Fox News was the reason Hillary lost the election, because Fox News is in every bar in America. I never see Fox News at any bars. I live in a very conservative state, and when I go to bars, I see CNN all the time, which surprises me, but I digress. The jarring comment is part of the approach Mueller and his team have embraced since May, when the DOJ named them to lead the high-profile investigation earlier, which aims to intimidate witnesses and possible targets of the probe. The newspaper reported. Manafort, who was fired from Trump's campaign last summer, has emerged as a key figure in Mueller's investigation as prosecutors continue to scrutinize possible ties to Russia, his lobbying work overseas, and other previous business transactions. Okay, what is important to note here is that even if Paul Manafort is guilty of what he's being accused of, even if we are able to ascertain that he indeed colluded with Russia and Ukraine and all these things, he broke the law, many people are going to use that certainty that Trump is now guilty, that since Paul Manafort is guilty of these crimes and he worked for Donald Trump's campaign as the campaign chairman, then by extension, Donald Trump also must be working with the Russians. Because why would Trump not do research on Paul Manafort? Why would he hire someone who is proactively working with the Russians? So they're going to try to tie Trump to him that way, which is, it's sad, because you actually haven't heard a lot of Trump-Russia narratives on the news lately. And then all of a sudden this pops up. It's almost like they want to get the story back on Trump. And the whole thing with Hillary Clinton now, recently she has said that she may question the election results if it turns out that Trump did collude with Russia, that she might throw it into question, maybe get that reversed. During the campaign, she was the one claiming over and over that when Donald Trump loses, he better make sure that he doesn't do this and that, blah, blah, blah. And now she is doing the exact same thing that she accused him of most likely doing. The hypocrisy in this woman is outstanding, and she's touring the country now with her What Happened book deal, blaming everyone but herself. And it's almost as if she's not doing it just for attention and money, but she's actively trying to garner attention on Trump and his alleged collusion with Russia. That's why she talks about it now. That's why she's saying, if it turns out to be true that Trump works with Russia, yes, I may actually question the legality of the election. It's like, the bitch just won't go away. A spokesman for Mueller declined the Times' request for comment, and so did the lawyers and a spokesman for Manafort. So the New York Times is just going to make it up as they go. Since nobody will talk to them, they will create sources out of the air. I threw that in. That's ad-libbed by me, but I don't know. Yet, I think to some degree I'm correct. Mueller's probe is broadly investigating Russia's interference in the 2016 election, as well as whether Trump campaign associates colluded with the Kremlin in order to fix the outcome so that Donald Trump would end up in the Oval Office. The report comes at a time when the investigation appears to be picking up steam as the federal prosecutor continues to sniff around the White House for leads. Mueller has reportedly issued a series of subpoenas to pressure witnesses to testify before a grand jury. Now, why couldn't Comey do that with the Hillary Clinton scandal? Why couldn't he do that? Why didn't he question Hillary at the very beginning? I know people are saying this is a straw man argument. No, it's not. It's not. It comes down to the basic premise of fairness. If you're going to create a federal investigation into somebody and into their associates, then you better make sure you do that for every single person who is accused of doing a crime. You can't pick You can't pinpoint who you want to investigate. It's either you investigate everyone the same or you investigate nobody the same. And that is statism. That is government control. That is tyranny. That is just wrong and bad. It is important to adopt your investigation tactics in a manner synonymous with what your local law enforcement would do. If we see it here, if we are seeing it here with Donald Trump's associates, then why the hell didn't we see it from Comey with Hillary Clinton? Manafort's spokesman reportedly testified before a federal grand jury in Washington on Friday, as did one of Manafort's former lawyers, during which Mueller claimed an exception to the attorney-client privacy rule. The Times report came around the same time Monday after that CNN reported the government wiretapped Manafort's phone during and after the presidential election. Manafort has not been charged with any crime. Alright, well, it's funny how Obama said no one was monitored, no communications were wired, blah, blah, but yet we have proof now. We know for a fact that a FISA request was issued earlier in the year for Trump Tower. And now we have proof that Paul Manafort's phone was wiretapped, or his communications were wiretapped. So do people really not believe that someone like Obama wouldn't actually wiretap Trump or any of his associates? I mean, we know right now it's Paul Manafort. People are saying, yeah, but that's because that's way before Trump's time. Either way, he lied about it. Obama lied about it. Nobody in the Trump campaign was wiretapped. Well, we know that's not true. It wouldn't surprise me if more information breaks that our savior Obama just continued to lie and deceive not only his base, but the American people. And the liberal media is eating it up. And I'm done.